mad was that? But that was a nice little introduction. Back in the Lake District, finally we got some nice weather. It's just been raining for days non-stop pretty much, and gonna get out a bit early. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, but it's going to take us a little while to get up there. It's quite high and it doesn't look that big on the camera, but trust me, it is. So we're going to start making our way up now. So I've got this amazing view right now leading off down here, down the lake, and it's one of those shots where it's almost like a vista, but when you get these higher up shots where you're looking down on things, it's easy for you to just end up with a shot that either just points straight in or just you read from left to right and then you're done with the picture, which isn't kind of enough really. Luckily for me, I've got these amazing trees down here in the foreground. You might not be able to see them on the video right now, but they'll come out in the picture, and they're quite barren looking. They're kind of stripped back and they look quite desolate, if you like, but they're quite interesting to look at. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a bracketed shot for this because I want to make sure I bring out all of that detail that's in the shadow. We've got a fairly contrasty image. The sky is quite bright at the moment. The ground down here in the shade is relatively dark. You could get away with one exposure for this, definitely, but I feel like there's so much information in those shadow details down here that I'm going to do a bracketed shot for safety to make sure that I can definitely bring out all of that shadow detail and then really tell the story of this place properly. I think it's really important with these kind of images that you give the eye somewhere else to go, that there's not just going to the final destination, which is the horizon. It will go there originally, you'll take in the whole picture and then you'll start to roam, but you have to give the eye places to roam, detail to look at. So you have to make sure there's detail in those shadows and the highlights. And that just brings me on to another subject that I want to talk about here, why I'm not going to use a filter like a neutral density filter that's graduated, getting darker, because you see these areas up here, they're going to get darker too. And so for me, I don't use those filters. I've got nothing against people using them, but I just feel that most of the time what you end up doing is bringing back the sky but losing the other visual interest in the picture. I don't want to lose details in rocks and mountainsides and treetops in order to gain back the sky. It just, you're gaining one thing and losing something else, and they tend to work really well when you've got a very flat horizon. Then they're brilliant, but in situations like this you can often see the line of the filter where it's the band where it's getting darker, because you can see it on the mountaintops and the treetops, and I don't care for that personally. I think it's better to take 3 exposures or however many you need to get the shots right. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with this image, and I'm going to rearrange my composition in a bit so you can see some of the things that I'm talking about more. And I need to wait for the sun to come down more because at the moment it's very contrasty. So anyway, I'm going to change my position now and show you what I'm talking about with the composition. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to go for a portrait or landscape orientation, but we'll see in a minute.